Hey, good evening, everyone. Prime Bible Traders here. Super Bowl Sunday. I hope everyone's having a good day. And of course, this is a video where I just take a look at the week that was, and then we start looking at what we can expect in the coming week. So let's start out with that right away here. Let's look at what we've got on deck. We're in the middle of earnings, although we're getting kind of to the back end of it here. So not a lot of interesting stocks here, but a few. We got Twitter and Cisco on Tuesday after the close. We got a few. We got Lyft after the close as well, and of course Uber after the close on the following day. GM, a few food companies, Kraft and Kellogg, as the week goes on, with Pepsi on Thursday as well. So, a few interesting um, earnings reports. So we'll be watching those, of course. So let's jump ahead here. Let's take a look at how we're looking for the open tomorrow. These are the futures. And you can see here we're going to open up in the green by the looks of things, at least right now. NASDAQ's looking pretty strong. All the indexes are actually looking pretty strong here. S&P and the Russell all looking pretty good here. If we look at some of the commodities, oil's up, natural gas is up, gold's up a little bit. It was up a lot earlier on with silver, and it's really pulled back a lot here. I'm looking at the yields too. We're going to talk about that in a minute. You can see they're up a little bit. It's going to be something I'm going to talk about a fair amount here. And so let's get right into it. So let's start out by looking at the yield curve on the 2-year bonds. And you can see here we're in a very well established uptrend. We just keep holding this 20 moving average here, and we're really getting extended. But we are, again, we're just breaking out here. And I keep telling people, or I keep reiterating in my videos here, that this is something that I see as a bit of a flag, a red flag on the track. But at this point, the markets don't seem to care. But at some point, I think they will. So we're just keeping an eye on this. We'll get back to that a little bit more here. Let's see what the transports did on the daily. You can see here we had a nice day. We had a pretty much a nice week after this last previous week pullback, and then this week, came back up, recaptured the 20 moving average. But if you don't hear, look at this comeback on really on light volume. This is not institutions, so again, a little bit of a flag on the track here. But MACD turning back up. We're just a little bit above we're around 50 actually on the stochastics. So looking for another pop here on the open. But again, I think we're a little bit of a concern here about this lack of volume. We'll see if that continues through um, through the rest of the indexes here. You can see here, big sell-off day, a lot more volume than we had to recapture those that level here. So the Dow on the daily again looked like we broke out to a new high, pulled back from it, and you can see here really some bit of topping action there, and maybe we're going to continue to have some struggles here. But same sort of theme here, lower volume on this comeback. Indexes or indicators are all pointing to a higher high, so I guess that's the positive. And again, pushing up to those highs again. The Qs, we broke out to a new high there, up 0.34% on the day. Let's see how we did on the weekly. And again, new weekly high, up another 5%. And again, lower volume last week. Just a bit of a concern there. So, and the SPY on the daily broke out to a new high on Friday. And again, weekly all-time high. Again, just keeps pushing higher. But again, this comeback was on a lot lower volume. So it tells you that a lot of institutions are not jumping back in here. Seems to be more of the retail driven. And the IWM really just broke out strong on Friday. TNA is a good way to play the IWM, which we've been doing. And again here, a nice weekly breakout. Look at that, almost up 8% on the week. Again, volume a little less than the sell-off in the prior week. So, the pain trade still may be higher. That we may just continue to grind higher on low volume. That's not out of the question. So again, the TLT taken to the woodshed. This is the price of bonds. Of course, when the yields go up, bond prices drop, and we've just been accelerating to the downside here, getting really, I'd almost consider to be a little bit oversold. Might look for a bounce on that, but the trend is still higher. You can see here, these are the yields. Again, this was pullback, and then just another breakout to a new high. And let's take a look at the monthly on this, on the 10-year Treasury yield. You can see here breaking out again, nice little A, B, C, D patterns all the way up here. And again, really overbought on the stochastics. MACD is, look at that MACD line, look at that, just continues to go higher there. And you can see here RSI, we're not overbought on the weekly yet. So the trend is still continuing to go higher. And again, I'm just keeping an eye on this because I think once we start to get up into this is where I'm guessing we're going to have some heartburn with the market somewhere in this area here. But again, we'll just keep an eye on things. There's lots of money sloshing around and more money coming, more helicopter money coming. So it's just going to add more liquidity, more money going into the market. And it's just going to keep pushing things higher. That's what I think. The dollar, obviously we had a trend change here. You can see we broke this trend, broke out, pulled back. This is a typical breakout, pullback, check back, and then higher low. It's kind of a W formation here, and then breaking out. So we're doing a little pullback here on Friday, I should say. But look at this, we're going to be crossing the 20 and the 50. So trend is still higher on the dollar. The dollar continues to strengthen. What does that mean? Basically means emerging markets and the gold, silver trade, other commodity trades may not perform as well. Although we've had some divergence from that. Oil's done really well this week. Last quick mention, Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you can see here where we did a nice little pullback. Here's a double bottom. It just held this 50 moving average. Bitcoin does tend to trade very much on technicals. And I think we're really breaking out on Bitcoin is what I'm thinking. Or at least it looks like we're trying to. I just looked at the Bitcoin prices. They are off a little bit. But again, I think we are going to probably break higher here. Yeah, I think there will be a breakout here. So we've put in a double bottom and we'll see if we can break out from this 40,000 level. So let's take a quick look at some of the squeeze plays. It's kind of been entertaining more than anything. Again, if you weren't involved in it back here, you were really late to the game. If you're playing it on this side of that big spike, you're really playing. You're really gambling at this point. Well, you'd be gambling at this point, but at least you had the odds in your favor on this accelerated move to the upside with the momentum. And now you've got momentum to the downside. Although it looks like we might be holding the line, as they say here, in these crazy trades. We may expect a little bit of a bounce here on some of these squeeze plays next week, Monday. BB, I took entry in on last week, and you can see here got a nice bounce off this because it did seem to be holding. Mentioned that in the room. And still holding some BlackBerry after that nice little bounce. And BBBY, not trading this, but again, you can see here it's kind of holding this level. And you can see why it's holding this level. Here's your ABCD pattern here. And this is the low on the ABC pattern, the C part of the pattern. And again, that just picked up where we left off. Of course, here's another support resistance level, prior resistance, which became support. So not surprising, we got a bit of a bounce here. See if we get a bit of a squeeze back up on that one on Monday, Tuesday, and again, a bit of a squeeze on GME. So again, I'd be looking for a little bit of a pop here on Monday, Tuesday. We'll see if that happens. Just as a joke, I took a few shares. Mentioned we were talking about that Friday in the close. and sold them on the pop, and then still have a few left over just for I don't know, just for fun. Not a big gamble. I'm not gambling with a lot of shares here. I think it is 20 shares I've got. So if I get a $10 pop, I'll be happy. And space was another bit of a squeeze here. So you can see we're getting a bit of a topping action here on space. Could almost consider, if you really wanted to play this, you could play this with selling some 60 calls. Looks like we're putting in a bit of a topping pattern here. Look at this. Well, this pullback here was on really low volume. So, you know, you never know where this is going to go. The market just keeps wanting to go higher. So let's keep an eye on that. If we do break out above this sort of 58 level and hold into the close, we're probably going to go higher. Okay, so this is some of the stocks we've got on watch for next week. Just looking ahead. Again, expect the markets to probably grind higher. So I'm looking at ATNX. The biotech stocks have really been on fire. If you look at LABU, okay, let's start out by looking at LABU. This is biotech bull ETF. It's 3 times, so it's always a little bit more juicy. And you can see here, it's just been, it's really broke out from this 140 level, just ripping higher. You know, it tends to make big moves because it's a beta ETF. But let's, again, let's look at what we got on watch here. Let's go back to ATNX, like this one. Like the way it's setting up here. We've got all the 20 crossing the moving averages. RSI turning up. Volume's starting to pick up a little bit on this. Stochastics turning up on that. Yeah, so yeah, liking this one a lot. So ATNX, we'll look at that. And it close above, what did we close out here? Right at just around $14. I think if we can start to move up here tomorrow and we can close above 14, it looks like we're could break higher here. Let's take a look quickly on the weekly. Always look better to look at longer term time frames. So you can see here, lots of resistance here. And again, if we can break out from this level, we could be looking at, you know, something around $17, $18 for the next level of a resistance. Let's go to the next one, BCRX, another biotech. This one had a nice little pop here and pulled back. You know, pulled back to the area where we broke out from. And this is kind of why you don't chase these stocks when they break out. Always nice setup to wait for this pullback. So you've got this area here where you would stop out. If you get in around 950, 960, that's good. That gives you a really tight range. Maybe use the 20 moving average as your stop out price, and then, you know, we can hope for a lot higher. You can see here we got nothing but blue sky, no big volume up there, nobody stuck up there waiting to get out, or at least very few people. So the only thing that's concerning here is stochastics are really turning over. So keeping an eye on BCRX. BRQS, kind of like this one again, broke out from this prior level of resistance all along here, this 150 level. Now we got this nice pullback. And again, this is a good place to enter. And then, you know, you can use 140 or this 20 moving average as your stop. KPMG, KMPH, I should say. KPMG, it's the accounting firm. Here's a price level here. If we can close above 8, get into 7, this could be a nice little breakout play as well. We've got everything, all the indicators heading up. Again, nice little play. METX. I think there's a high short on this one. So I was kind of interested in this. I'm watching this. Lots of volume here last couple days. We did kind of gap. We had a big strong day, gapped up. So I'll be watching this one tomorrow for a possible move higher. In NDM, I actually have some in NDM. I'm holding it. This is putting in an ascending triangle. You can see the triangle here. Here's the lower line, and here's the upper line. I'm just waiting for this thing to break. It looks like I think it's going to break to the upside because ascending pennants tend to always, not always, but most of the time, they resolve in the direction of the overall trend. So I'm hoping to see a break of trend here higher on NNDM. And again, here's another one, PLTR, got into late last week, like the bottoming action here. Again, you could see how this was holding, and now I'm involved in this one. So RSI is turning up. We had some nice volume on Friday. The only concern, of course, is with stochastics, if we're below 50, rallies do tend to fade. So I'm keeping an eye on that one. QS, another one I'm watching. Looks like it's trying to hold this 42, 43 level. This was a gap fill from back here, and can use sort of 41 as, or what is this low here? Low is 40 and a half roughly. So if we get a bit of a pullback here, again, we watch for a breakout, above, certainly above this moving average would be a nice confirmation of trend. And again, rocket here, we're looking at sort of a bottoming action, looking for that one to possibly go higher as well. And silver, I'm just keeping an eye on here. We had that big squeeze, and of course a pullback when couldn't be sustained. And we'll see where silver goes. Twitter was breaking out here. I mean, I think this is looking a little toppy. I had it on my watch list, but I'm just going to keep an eye on it. I'm not sure if it's going to go higher. Of course, had Snap report. That was a big earnings report. Seemed to be taken well by the market. So, and I think that's it. So there you go. There's the week that was, and what we're watching for the week ahead here. So again, we're looking for the markets to grind higher, and we'll just see how some of these individual stocks that have pulled back, see if we can get some follow through back up to the upside here. So anyway, this is my book on Amazon, How to Swing Trade, if you haven't checked it out before. There it is. And of course, as always, we'll look forward to seeing you in the morning. If you're going to join us, we are on live at YouTube, 8:30. Usually Norm Carlos taking us through the pre-market show, looking at the movers and shakers, and then 9:30 we're trading the open. So hopefully I'll see you there, and enjoy the rest of your Super Bowl Sunday. Bye for now, everybody.